Hey, this is Carrie. I'm here to talk about my IUI journey, my fertility journey. I don't have infertility issues, but I would like to have a baby, and I haven't met the perfect guy to have a baby with. So I just wanted to bring you guys along on my journey to trying to have a baby and having a baby. I feel there's some other women out there that might be in the same boat that I'm in and just love to share my experience and what I'm going through and answer any questions that anyone may have, because I didn't know a lot of these things. I still don't know a lot of things, and I didn't even know where to start. So I worked at a place a couple years back, and I remember this girl named Sarah. And right when I left that place, she ended up having twin baby girls. And I see them post on Facebook all the time. And they're a beautiful family, but I knew she didn't have a partner. So I was really confused how she was able to have babies. So what I'm going through here is how I first started to know about some of these things. So I Facebook messaged Sarah about a year ago and asked her, which I was so scared to do, if she had her kids via fertility. I was so scared to ask her, and she said, yeah, I did, and it was an amazing experience, and I love it, and I'm happy to answer any questions. So she's been a wonderful resource for me, and I hope to be that for many others. My second experience was about a year and a half ago. I became friends with another girl who was also my age. I'm 35. And she was experiencing the beginning of her fertility treatments. And it just sounded amazing. And she said that there was this group called Single Mothers by Choice. Just to know there were other women out there that were doing the exact same thing. And like, we had a name. We have a name. Single Mothers by Choice. So between Sarah and then my friend Katie, I just learned so many resources and got to hear some of their experience. So today I'm just going to talk about my first appointment at the fertility clinic that I went to, which was last week. So one of my friends told me one of the places she goes to, and I looked at my insurance, and then I went over to UNC Fertility. And it is only half a mile away. So that was totally great, because I live in Raleigh, and some doctor's appointments that I have for my primary care or my dentist, a lot of those are like 15, 20 miles away. So my first appointment was a virtual appointment with Dr. B, and she was so calm and nice, and it was great meeting with her. The appointment was about an hour long, and she went over everything with me from start to finish on how everything works. And I had tons of questions at the end. I wrote down a bunch of questions, and a lot of them she had answered, but I was able to ask her a couple at the end. So the beginning of my virtual appointment, and I have some notes right here, she talked about making sure you know why you want a baby right now. And the things that you want to make sure you're checking off are finances, support, flexibility, and the means to have this baby. So I have been thinking about all those things and exploring that since she talked about that. I do have my mom here, and my dad's also in North Carolina, but in Charlotte, and I do have a lot of good girlfriends. So I feel like I have a lot of good supports. And finances, I think I'm doing pretty good for my age. I'm about to pay off my student loans. And then I have a house and a pug. And then as far as flexibility, I do work for myself. I work with a gentleman, but I do my schedule, and he just pays me as a contractor. So I've been a therapist for 10 years, and it's been very neat that I've done my time in tough environments, so now I've earned myself a spot at home. So I'm doing telehealth therapy. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm happy to share my journey and appreciate anyone who's listening. So now for the good stuff. Here are the things that you're here to find out. First thing first is she shared with me how this would work and what the game plan would be. So the first thing for me next is going to be I have to get my blood work done. So she wants me to get my blood work done to check my thyroid levels, this thing called your AMH level, which I'll get into, STDs, CMV, which I'm still confused about as well, and just to make sure all your blood work is correct. So AMH level has something to do with the number of eggs and follicles you have. I'm 35, so my number might be a little lower than 25-year-olds that are getting their AMH levels checked. STDs, I'm pretty sure I'm all good there. And then CMV status, she said something about this being a cold for babies, and some women and men are CMV negative and some are CMV positive. And I'll get you guys more information about this as soon as I learn more, but apparently this would be important for the donor search when you get to that stage. So after I get my blood work done, the next thing for me to do would be to get an HSG, which I just Googled how to pronounce that word, and it is a hysterosalpinography. And this is a test where they bring a catheter into your uterus and they fill a balloon full of ink, and then they pop the balloon. I think, I'm not a doctor, so hopefully I'm explaining this okay, but this is just what I remember, just to see if your fallopian tubes are open. I hear this is super painful. I'm super not looking forward to this. Both my friends said it hurt really, really, really bad. I've never had an IUD put in, but apparently it hurts worse than that, if that tells you anything. So HSG would be next, and then you get the results shortly after to figure out how aggressive you're going to have to go with your treatments. So there's an IUI and an IVF. IVF is in vitro fertilization, and that's the main one fertility treatment that most people know about. But IUI is intrauterine insemination, which is the less invasive, less money option that they like to start with as long as you're good to go and your fallopian tubes are open. I do hear that the HSG hurts more if one of your fallopian tubes is not open the whole way. So fingers crossed there, because I know I'm not young anymore. So then you get to choose your sperm donor, which is super exciting. I think there's one in California, there's one in Washington, and in Virginia. I'm sure there's way more, but those are the three that she talked about and that her bank uses the most. So you get to pick out the height, the hair color, the job, what age group that man is when he does give sperm, the whole 9 yards. So I'm super excited. Other resources that she talked about were, there's a preconception counselor. So I guess they're a licensed therapist like me, and they'll help you with all of your concerns and walk you through these steps. I think she said it's really important for women that are doing this on their own to get with her. I do have a therapist and I have a really good relationship with her. I've been seeing her over 2 years, and she's on board with me doing this just because I've been doing my research for so long. So I'll definitely have videos more about IUI versus IVF and some of these other things that I'm learning. But just wanted to share my experience of seeing the fertility gynecologist for the first time via a virtual session. So I'm gonna get my blood work done this week, hoping all of that's good. And then HSG, I think I'm gonna have to work my way up to, because that gives me a lot of anxiety that there's gonna be that much pain. But she seems very sweet. The clinic has rotating 6 or 7 doctors, so I won't always see the same person. So once I pick out my donor, then I'm on to starting my treatments. So another thing, she did say that I should start getting ovulation predictor kits, because right now I'm probably like 3, 4, 5 months out from my first insemination. And these kits can help with figuring out when your high and peak fertility days are. So I'm gonna order some of those on Amazon tonight. So I appreciate you guys listening and being there for me, and hopefully you guys are in this with me. I'm very grateful to share about my story, and I'm sure you're gonna see lots of emotions. I'll be happy, I might be mad, I might be sad, I might be frustrated, I might be on here crying, but I appreciate you guys so much, and thanks for taking the time to listen to me. All right, bye guys, see you soon.